You may not like it, but this is what peak entertainment looks like. That's right, it is just 18 and a half minutes of push ups. Raw. Well, I guess it's edited. Anyways, it's a lot of push ups. I've been just stockpiling them. I should be putting these out a bit more often, but I should also be doing push ups a bit more often. I've just been trying to find any time to do them. Any time that doesn't really mess with my fitness program. And that's been not too easy. So, fortunately, I have been able to sort of make a habit out of it lately. The past 3 weeks on Sundays, I have just bit the bullet and gotten some push-ups done. As you see here, the first Sunday, this is all the way back in like September, which, was only 2 weeks ago, but still. I did like 250, exactly 250. I did 25 sets of 10, and I felt quite good doing that. By the end of it, I was probably feeling it a bit, but it's nice and easy. And even though I'm like heavy now, I'm bulking, it still feels good to go through it and get them done. And I did another 25 sets the next Sunday, but one of them was accidentally a set of 9. So instead of 250, I did 249. And then last Sunday, or I guess it was, I guess it is last Sunday because it was just a few days ago, but I did 500. I did 50 sets of 10 because I was not really happy with how slowly the tally has been going up. So I just decided to double it. Take the number I have been doing, 250, double it. And it took me a little longer, but I got the 500 push-ups done. The last 100 were definitely a bit tougher, but it's no problem, especially when you space out your sets. When you give yourself sufficient rest time, it's really no problem at all to get these done. I find this approach really appealing because I don't feel like I'm killing myself by, pushing to exhaustion and fatigue. And, there's a lot to gain there, but it's also not what I want right now, at least. I just want to get these knuckle push-ups done. And okay, so I started the tally off at 38,050, and adding these 999 push-ups, I am now up to 39,049. So I have less than 1,000 push-ups, less than 1,000 knuckle push-ups left. I set a sort of challenge for myself to do a ton of knuckle push-ups. I wanted to see if my hands would just look tough, I guess, look like field tested, like they've been through some struggle or something. And I can't really say that's been the case. I think that's because I just took way too long. The past 10,000 push-ups have taken me way longer than I think they should have. And I think maybe even longer than the 30,000 before that. It's taken me so long to do these knuckle push-ups. I've been putting them off for so long. I don't really like them. They have been coming around to me a bit more just because going through the motion, I feel a little less sensitivity in the backside of my hand, and I could push them a bit more. I could do higher reps. When I started out, I was doing 100 a day, and just doing 100 knuckle push-ups was ripping the skin off of my knuckles, and I really didn't like that. I thought, this sucks. I gotta do this for 10,000 more push-ups. I just don't want to do that. And, saying it now, I sound like a giant baby, and it is just an excuse. It's a huge excuse, but at the same time, it was really affecting me, and it really slowed down the progression of my push-ups. And I kind of just did it on a whim. I was thinking, yeah, I'm just gonna do only knuckle push-ups. Like it was some genius idea. I was thinking, oh, this will be great for my fighting because my, punches will be harder because I'll be more used to pushing through my knuckles. And yeah, I haven't really seen any of that. It's something you have to probably, you know what? I spent way too much time. That's all it is. I just spent way too much time not doing these. I just did it too slowly, and really it's just it is what it is. There's no going back now. I can't undo it. I can't, do anything about it. So I'm just looking forward to the future. I'm looking forward to not doing knuckle push-ups. I'm sure I'll bring them back eventually, but I'm just so sick and tired of these. Like, I want to just throw myself in the air. Literally. I want to just do a push-up and toss myself in the air. And I guess I could do that on my knuckles, but I also don't want to break my hand. And maybe that's an excuse. I'm just being a baby. I don't want to do the knuckle push-ups. That's really all it is. I just don't want to do these, but I said I'd do it, so I'm going to finish up with what I started, and then I can move on to something else. I mean, it's not that bad. It really isn't. I did, 1,000 in a little over 2 weeks. That's not so bad. It could definitely be better though, and I should be doing these more consistently. I've been struggling to find time in my program because if I'm doing the push-ups really often, I'm going to be exhausting my arms, and it's going to have an effect on my weighted calisthenics. It's going to have an effect on arm days. I have 3 days. I guess 5 days actually. 4 or 5. I have a lot of days in my program that I am using my arms. So I can't just pre-exhaust myself. It's not smart. I'm going to slow down my progress in my lifts. And I don't want that. And I've done that before. I don't want that. I just want the best of both worlds. And right now, it seems like the way to do that is just slowly re-implementing high rep push-ups. I think this approach is really the way to go for me. On Sundays, I could sacrifice a little bit of time. I could knock out a couple hundred push-ups. My Saturdays are rest days. Sundays are kind of like a second rest. It's like light. I'm not really pushing myself hard. So I could definitely throw in some push-ups. A lot of people getting into fitness don't get this. They work out once and they work out too hard, and then they're sore for way too long because they worked out too hard. And then after they're sore, they rest because they think, oh, I got to rest after working out. I was just sore yesterday. And they take too much time off, too little time on. You have to make a habit out of it. Even with something like push-ups, it's so simple. You're just pushing yourself off the floor. And yet, if you don't do it consistently, it's just going to be hard. That's the way it is. If you don't do it consistently, it's not going to be easy. If you want something to be easy, you have to put in the reps. There's this saying in Russian, "Повторение мать учения." This means repetition is the mother of learning, which just means, you learn something by doing it. And it's the truth. Experience is really the best way to learn. Going through it, this has been an interesting experience so far, doing all these push-ups. And yet I could look back and see I've made a lot of mistakes. There's a lot of things that I could have done better. For starters, more volume. You can probably do a lot more than you think you can. And if you give yourself some rest time, if you maybe don't push it so hard on every single set, you can do a lot more than you think you can. I mean, I would have never thought that I could do 1,000 push-ups in a day. But if you spread them out, if you take a sufficient rest time, I could do 1,000 push-ups pretty much without a hitch. So don't count yourself out. Just try to make these things a habit. The good stuff. Of course, if you make a habit out of the bad things, smoking, drinking, that stuff gets easier too. I can tell you that from firsthand experience. You get good at whatever you practice. So might as well practice something that's going to benefit you in the future. I made a lot of mistakes on this journey so far. One of them was probably doing knuckle push-ups or deciding to do them, because it really kind of put my progress to a halt in the push-ups, in the tally specifically. Like, bringing that number up has slowed down significantly since I started doing knuckle push-ups. I've only been doing them this year, but it's been like 8 or 9 months for me to do 11,000 push-ups. That's not good. That's like pretty bad. I could do that in 2 months. I don't need that much time. But because I was just not enjoying it, and I don't want to make excuses. So because it just wasn't the right decision, it slowed down a lot of progress for me. Looking back, I probably could have avoided some injuries if I had focused more on push-ups and less on maybe something more intense, not intensive. But whatever, I won't rag on myself. 999 push-ups is good. This has been a good video for me. I'm glad to be able to finally upload these. It's taking up a lot of space on my phone, and I need to free that up so I could do some more push-ups. Right now, I'm kind of stuck with how exactly I want to progress. I said I think I could do push-ups on Sundays consistently, and I think I can, but that's really not enough for me. For starters, I should do more. I should do more push-ups. So the first 2 days here were good. I did almost 250 on each day. And the last day was really good. 500 push-ups in a day is a great achievement for anybody. And even for me, having done 500 push-ups in a day multiple times, probably a dozen times by now, maybe more, it's still a great achievement. It's still amazing to even be able to approach something like that, 500 push-ups in a day. I feel good about that. Every person I tell, like, oh, I did 500 push-ups today, they don't believe me. Like, it's so absurd. And yet it's such a small number, really, if you think about it. Like, $500 in the US, people make that in a week. It's a very, that's actually probably on the lower end. So that's something very realistic to say $500 in a week. $500 in a day is a bit less realistic for most people, but it's still like believable. People could still understand, like, oh, you sold a freaking TV, you made $500, or you sold, I don't know, a car and you made a $500 profit. That is not absurd. But for some reason, when it comes down to something like push-ups or exercise in general, it's like unbelievable. Literally, the last person who asked me like what I do today, and I told him 500 push-ups, he straight up didn't believe me. And this is someone I know very well, like intimately. I know this guy. He's in my family, so obviously I know him, but he didn't believe me. I told him, he's like, what'd you do today? How's your day going? And I told him, well, I did 500 push-ups. I trained and then I did 500 push-ups. And he was like, no, you didn't. You did not do that. Like, he just said it straight up, But of course, I got the evidence. I've got the proof in the pudding in my cell phone storage. And I showed him, I scrolled through a couple videos, like, check it out. Set of 10, set of 10, set of 10, set of 10, times 50, that's 500. And he believed me, but initially, it's pretty unbelievable. I remember, I brought this up before, I've talked about this. My roommate in college, he wanted to do 1,000 push-ups in a day. And I told him, I don't think that's possible. I said, you can't do that. And yeah, it was so dumb to be of that mindset where I just put this guy down. But, it's in the past, can't take it back. I'd have actually apologized for that in a different video. But I don't think I've apologized to him. I don't know if that's necessary. But I don't know if he did them. Anyways, that's what he was planning on doing. I don't think he did them. I think he stopped. Anyways, I told him that's not possible. Like, people can't do that. That's so many push-ups. You can't even, I couldn't even imagine how many push-ups that was. I could maybe do a set of 20 or 30 with like embarrassing form. And still, I was thinking like, okay, I could do 20 and then I could do like 15 after that because I'm gonna be tired. And then I could do like 10 after that. And I was thinking like in a day, I could probably do like 100 push-ups, which is so simple and easy now that I think about it. Like, just 10 times 10 is 100. But back then, I just wasn't of the same mindset. Even though I was training and I was pushing myself, it was not nearly to the degree that I am now. And I had no idea what was possible. I had no idea I even was willing to put my belief out there, blatantly, unapologetically, believing that there's no way anybody could do that. But lo and behold, it's actually not that crazy. I think there's a lot of people that could do it if they just set their mind to it. I mean, just look at this. 999 push-ups. I literally, I'm not even breaking a sweat doing these. I take a little break in between, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, maybe more, just because I'm at home and I'm not pushing it. I'm just showing up, doing some push-ups. I want to get these done. I'm here for the reps. I know if I don't take a sufficient break, if I don't let myself recover, then I'm going to be straining myself maybe a little too much, and that could affect my performance long term. I mean, a long distance runner doesn't sprint. They just don't, because that's not going to be beneficial. They might do sprints in practice, but during a long distance run, they're never going to sprint. Maybe they push it a little bit harder right before the finish line or the last mile, but for the most part, they're going at a pace that they're comfortable with, a pace that they know, if I maintain this, it's going to be real good. Over the long run, it's going to be real good if I maintain this. And that's exactly what they do. So that's what I'm going to do, because this is a marathon. This is not a short little race. Thank you for watching. This has been another push-up video, adding 999 push-ups to the tally. My tally's officially up to 39,049 push-ups. I thank you for watching, and if you'd like to work one-on-one with me, click that link below. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.